Hello, cheers, my mates. Sorry for the little delay. We had some technical difficulties. So, hello, we will be today explaining, or rather, Johnny will be explaining to me the ins and outs of Dominick's plea deal because I found out about it just today. So I don't understand it fully. So, Johnny, would you like to take the lead here?
Unfortunately for Paul, he's on a little bit of a time zone issue here, and that's why he came across the news a little later than we did. But there's a lot of people going around talking about how Dominic had caved to Binger. It's far from the truth. In fact, if anything, this is as close to, well, I don't want to go too strong with it, but whatever the case, Binger has offered a plea deal to Dominick Black, and they have accepted. The only thing standing in the way is for the judge to basically agree to it, and the judge will. There's the chances of the judge saying, "Well, no, I don't accept this," is zero. So essentially, this puts the Dominick Black issue to rest. And what is the plea deal? Well, Dominic would basically agree to a municipal code violation, and it's not even a crime. It doesn't show up on his criminal record, and it's not a gun charge. And that was most important for Dominic, was because even a misdemeanor gun charge would have ruled him out for like military service. It could have ruled him out. He wants to be a pilot. Right. That could have been really serious. And there was probably a time, I'm sure, that he probably felt like taking it, because you know how much stress and strain he must have been going through. For him to accept this plea deal is a massive victory for him. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, he should have stuck to his guns. Yeah, you're not in his shoes. No. What do you think you would have done, Paul?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Well, and the issue here is he will have guaranteed what? Basically he needs to pay a fine. That's about it, right?
Yeah, I don't know if what the actual details of the actual thing are, but it would be a fine.
Okay, right.
I don't think you can put somebody in jail for a municipal code violation. Yeah, it would be a fine.
Yeah. So there you go. You have out of two choices: guaranteed fine. Whatever that is. Even if it's a few $1,000s. Or potentially spending 12 years or how much. In jail or in prison. And basically the technicalities there of the law are. Yeah.
I think I forgot. I think it's a $2,000 fine.
Okay, fine. Yeah. And the risk there is that that's rather a technical. The charge was rather of technical nature, so even dumbbell like a Binger could maybe confuse the jury into sending Dominic potentially.
What Dominic was facing, though, was much more serious. If Binger had appealed it, he threatened to, and Binger, remember, he's pretty, let's say, spiteful, and he could have easily have appealed it. Now there are 9 judges in the actual appeals, at the appeals level in Wisconsin. They would have assigned 3 of them to settle this randomly. 5 of the 9 are liberals. So there was a reasonable chance that he could have gotten 2 out of 3 against him. That would have basically basically overruled the dismissal of the gun charge against Dominic. That would have also effectively eliminated or turned over the dismissal of the gun charge against Kyle Rittenhouse. Now, Kyle would not have faced a retry on that. I mean, that would have been bizarre. But the other thing is that we've all been talking about how Kyle Rittenhouse possessed that gun legally, right? If the appeals court overturns it, we couldn't say that anymore. And so we would have lost a major talking point. Okay. And again, the whole idea somehow that Kyle carried that gun legally is kind of important. And so he could have lost that.
Absolutely.
So he
just
was really, and by the way, I should also mention the appeals process is going to last about a year, and Dominic has to stay on bail for that time. So he has to go through all the bail agreements that you're expected to do for a full year, and in exchange for a $2,000 fine,
yeah, precisely. You
a
know,
no-brainer.
not to mention it's just done. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to, you know, just the stress, that the uncertainty and stuff like that entails with all of this. You know, like it's just gone, it's done. You know, so that alone is, you know, a big deal. Just, you know, check out earlier. When you needed to stress out that some of the judges are rather liberal, and like for me it is something like, for those of you who do not know, I'm from Czech Republic, you know, it's in Europe, and for me the fact that someone needs to consider political leanings of a judge, you know, that's like, well, it's rather unfortunate.
Yeah, and I don't think it's necessarily so much liberal versus conservative as pro-gun versus anti-gun.
Or, yeah,
You know,
there you
I
go.
mean, there's just going to be some that think, well, you know, I just don't think it's right for a 17-year-old to carry a weapon around like that. And if they have that thought, now
Yeah.
they're trying to find a way to justify it, and they probably can. Keep in mind, I mean, here's where I really disagree with a lot of people. The fact that Kyle was carrying the gun legally was not a slam dunk. I have been saying this, and nobody listens. They all say it's clear. You read the statutes; it's absolutely clear. No, it's not. It's if you read the statutes in a certain way, you can justify making that illegal, because it all comes down to what does it mean to be in compliance of something. And if you're not hunting, and you're required to have a degree of a certificate of accomplishment to hunt, are you in compliance? I could see it both ways. I think that Kyle's lawyers had the stronger argument, but it is not an absolute that reading the statutes means that Kyle Rittenhouse, the gun charge, should have been dropped. It could have gone either way, to be honest with you.
Yep. That was, you know, like a rather technical thing, and I just it also, like, well, to be fair, wasn't there a possibility that where, despite him carrying the rifle illegally, the charge would be basically dismissed on that it is way too complicated. I don't know now how it is called. For a regular person to basically figure it out, if lawyers and judges need to argue over it, because there were like contradicting statutes, and yeah, it was rather complex.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, again, I just think that there was a good 25 to 40% chance that they would have overturned this on appeal, and Dominic would have been stuck with that gun charge, and so would Kyle. But that charge was dismissed with prejudice, so that was probably not going to come back. But you know, again, and at the time, if you go back to my older videos, when I first explored this thing deeply, I said the chances of Kyle winning on this gun charge thing was 50-50.
Right.
And then I read Binger's complete lame attempt to write a motion, and I said it was around 75-80% chance that the gun charge would be thrown out. But I was still holding out about a 20% chance, because it was not. And keep in mind also, the judge took how long to read this thing? How much of a slam dunk could it have been if it's taken him that long to figure it out?
Absolutely. Yeah, but for basically to summarize it down, Dominick Black has accepted a deal where there is a fine up to $2,000, and he should be basically in the clear on everything else. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Yep. So, that calls, actually, because, like, beer is getting, in the great tradition of this channel, I'll be opening a beer. And actually, I ran today to a shop, basically, to pick up a premium beer, like a Pilsner Urquell. So, Dominic, cheers. Here's to your, freedom, I wish that you have a long and happy life. Sorry that I didn't do more, because just too much work and stuff like that. But mate, I'm
We need
so
to have
happy
him
for
on
you.
our show. I mean, I think Dominic might do it. We need to ask him.
Yeah.
Hey, Dominic, if you're watching out there, come on. Join us.
Yeah, well, I can, if you would be okay with it, actually, Dom, you can come on right now. I can drop down the link in.
I think he's probably going to wait until after Monday.
That's true. Okay, I found it out.
I don't blame him. I mean, you just don't want to jinx it, right? Like, there's only one thing left that could go wrong. And,
absolutely. That's fair
well.
enough. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. And just wanted to say also the whole the reasoning basically of Mr. Binger of how to why was he prosecuting Dominic in the first place? It's just so busy, as you said, he's spiteful, right? But I'm sorry, as a public servant, your ego does not belong in that job, mate. You should have dropped it.
I think Dom gutted his strategy on the stand, and I think that Binger was very upset about that. Again, and I have a video on this, and I'll tell you. The purpose of putting Dom on the stand was not to establish that Kyle took the gun. It didn't matter. Mm-hmm. What he needed was, that would play a role in the gun possession charge, but Kyle was dead to rights on that one anyway. Regardless of how the judge ruled, no one's disputing that Kyle is in possession of a rifle and he's 17, right? So Binger doesn't need any evidence about that. He needed evidence against the homicide charges, and he was really hoping, I think, that Dom would give him something like, I saw Kyle point a rifle. Go ahead.
Right. We have a question from audience, from Peter Kosher. Do you think this may have been the deal that Binger didn't have with Dominic for his testimony? That's rather on you, Matt.
Do you think? I don't think I fully understand the question.
He's asking basically if this was the deal between Dominic and Mr. Binger for his testimony behind the scenes.
Oh, I see what you're saying. No. The reason why is I have it on good, let's say, faith, or I have strong feelings. I have good reason to believe that the original plea deal was probably going to be like a misdemeanor gun charge.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have been bad for Dominic. But no, I don't think so. And I don't think that they would have dragged this thing out this long if that was the case. Now, keep in mind, they really can't make deals like this. So it would have to have been sort of an informal understanding. And lawyers are very careful how they phrase those kind of things. But they can't say, if you say this, I'll do this for you. That's highly illegal.
Yeah, absolutely. And no, I was just waving, good morning to, I don't know, Brenda Kimo, where you are, that you have a morning there right now. What I wanted to say, I believe in I was watching the live stream that you had yesterday, the panel with Photo Chat Grambo, Neil, and Kevin Mathewson. And he mentioned specifically, I forgot how is it called, that in Wisconsin is basically, hey, you testify and good conduct, I believe, it was, or something like that, the agreement. But
Binger had to get something.
Yeah, just to save face. Yeah,
but this is such a weak charge. There's really not much you can claim about it. You got a kid for basically the same. This would be the same violation as if I went and bought some kid some beer and he was underage. You're going to get a municipal code violation for that. It could be. It's probably a little more serious than speeding, but it's in the same category as a speeding ticket.
Mm-hmm.
So
Dominic is in the clear now. Question is because he wants to go to the Air Force, I believe, you mentioned, or to the military, and his name could be quite high profile, and it is like, like, will he get there? Because if he gets to the recruiter's office and stuff like that, then they process it and like push it up the chain and stuff like that. Maybe some people would have issues. Well, if we accept him, there will be some idiots basically protesting it, like, or something like that, some. So
Well,
yeah.
I mean, he doesn't have the prominence that Kyle Rittenhouse has.
Yeah,
If
that's
Kyle
true.
was trying to get in, yeah, that'd be pretty tough. I don't see that being much of a barrier if he wants to join the armed forces. He probably can. Keep in mind, a lot of time has passed. His desires may have changed by now, and
Well,
and especially the strain of having this all on you for so long, it can really mess with your motivations for certain things. I think he needs probably time to kind of unwind a little bit and reevaluate where he is.
yeah.